In the heart of Southeast Asia, a quiet revolution is unfolding. It's a story of ambition, it's a story of innovation, it's the story of a nation harnessing the power of the sun in a way the world has never seen before. This is Indonesia, an archipelago of thousands of islands, now embarking on a journey to become a global leader in clean energy. For generations, these islands have been powered by the Earth's ancient resources. Coal, oil have fueled its growth, but a new dawn is breaking. The nation is turning its gaze towards a cleaner, more sustainable future, one that respects the delicate balance of its stunning natural landscapes. This is not just a simple switch to renewables. It's a bold reimagining of, what is possible. Faced with the challenge of a growing population and the urgent need to combat climate change, Indonesia is thinking differently. It's looking to its vast natural resources, not just those buried deep underground. The equatorial sun beats down with incredible intensity. The winds sweep across its long coastlines, its countless lakes and reservoirs, now viewed as platforms for a groundbreaking new technology. This transformation is driven by a powerful vision. It's a commitment to leave behind a legacy of environmental stewardship for future generations. The government has set ambitious targets, aiming to achieve net zero emissions by 2060 or sooner. This goal requires a monumental shift in its energy landscape, a departure from the fossil fuels that have powered its past. It's a challenge that demands courage and creativity. Indonesia is not just following the path of other nations. It's forging its own, leveraging its unique geography to pioneer solutions that could inspire the entire world. The world is watching as nations everywhere grapple with the complexities of the energy transition. Indonesia's story offers a beacon of hope. It shows that with ingenuity and determination, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. It's a narrative of a nation embracing its potential, turning its natural blessings into a source of clean, limitless power. This is more than just about building power plants, it's about building a better future, one where economic progress and environmental protection go hand in hand, powered by the brilliant light of the sun. Indonesia is a nation defined by water, with over 17,000 islands scattered across the equator. Its identity is inextricably linked to the seas, lakes, and rivers that surround and crisscross its land. This unique geography presents both a challenge and an extraordinary opportunity. Connecting a sprawling archipelago with a stable energy grid is a complex task. Providing power to remote communities has long been a logistical puzzle. For decades, the answer lay in smaller, often diesel-powered generators, which were costly and polluting. But what if the solution was not on the land, but on the water itself? The country is blessed with an abundance of inland water bodies. It has over 500 lakes and reservoirs, covering a vast area. These bodies of water, many of which were created for hydroelectric dams and irrigation, have long served a vital purpose. Now they're being seen in a new light. They represent a massive untapped surface area, perfectly suited for a new kind of solar power. Instead of clearing valuable forests or using agricultural land for solar farms, Indonesia is looking to these calm, expansive waters. This is a brilliant solution for a nation where land is a precious and often contested resource. This strategic pivot towards its water resources is a game changer. Land use is a critical issue in Indonesia, a country with one of the world's most biodiverse rainforests. The pressure to develop land for agriculture, industry and housing is immense. Traditional ground-mounted solar farms require large tracts of flat, open land, putting them in direct competition with other essential needs. By placing solar panels on water, Indonesia can preserve its forests, protect its farmlands, and avoid difficult land acquisition issues. It's a solution that elegantly sidesteps one of the biggest hurdles to, large-scale solar development. This approach is not just practical, it's deeply symbolic. It reflects a harmonious integration of technology with nature. It's a way of generating power that works with the existing landscape rather than against it. The same reservoirs that provide water for communities and power through turbines can now serve a dual purpose, hosting floating solar arrays that capture the sun's energy. This innovative thinking is at the core of Indonesia's green revolution. It's about finding smarter, more sustainable ways to power its future, turning a geographical challenge into a remarkable strategic advantage for the entire nation. Imagine a vast expanse of water shimmering under the tropical sun. Now picture it covered with a mosaic of deep blue panels, silently converting sunlight into electricity. This is floating solar, photovoltaics. A simple idea with profound implications. Mount solar panels on buoyant platforms to create power plants on lakes, reservoirs, other calm water bodies, not a novelty, a powerful tool against climate change. Indonesia is embracing it at scale, a vision of the future, real today. Advantages are numerous and compelling. Major benefit, the cooling effect of water. Panels lose efficiency when they get hot. Floating keeps them cooler, so they generate more electricity than land panels. Water also helps keep panels clean from dust and dirt, boosting performance. This water plus solar synergy is an efficient way to harness the sun. These arrays offer environmental benefits beneath the surface. Covering water reduces evaporation. In a warming world, water security matters. This helps conserve reservoirs. Shade from panels limits algae blooms, which can harm water quality and ecosystems. It generates clean energy and helps protect the environment, creating a virtuous sustainability cycle. This promise has captured Indonesia's imagination, a solution tailored to its needs and its geography. It lets the nation rapidly scale renewables without sacrificing land. It improves solar efficiency while adding environmental co-benefits. For a nation determined to lead, floating solar is more than an alternative. It's a declaration of intent, a symbol of innovation, and a bold step toward a cleaner, brighter, and more sustainable future for all its people. Our journey takes us to the highlands of West Java. Here, nestled amongst lush green hills and picturesque villages, lies the Cirata Reservoir. This is not a natural lake, it's a vast man-made body of water created in the 1980s by damming the Citarum River. For decades, its primary purpose has been to generate hydroelectric power, providing electricity to millions of people. The reservoir is immense, stretching across 62 square kilometers, a shimmering jewel in the landscape. But now, this familiar landmark is the stage for Indonesia's next great energy chapter. It's here that a vision for a cleaner future is taking physical form, transforming the surface of the water into a powerhouse of solar energy. The choice of Cirata was deliberate and strategic. Its sheer size offered the space needed for a project of this magnitude. Its role as an existing hydroelectric facility meant essential transmission infrastructure was already in place. This synergy is crucial. The new floating solar plant can be connected directly to the national grid, blending its power with energy from the dam's turbines. This creates a more stable and reliable energy source combining the consistent power of hydro with daytime peak solar. It represents a perfect marriage of old and new renewable technologies working together in harmony. Before the first panel was laid, extensive studies were conducted. Scientists and engineers meticulously mapped the reservoir. They analysed water depth, wind patterns, and the movement of the sun across the sky throughout the year. They needed to ensure the project would not harm the local environment or disrupt the lives of the communities who depend on the reservoir. This careful planning was essential. The goal was not simply to build a power plant, but to create a model for sustainable development. A project that demonstrates how large-scale infrastructure can coexist with nature and support local economies, particularly the thriving floating fish farms that dot the reservoir. The result of this planning is a project that feels like a natural extension of the reservoir itself. Rather than dominating the landscape, the solar arrays occupy just a small fraction of the water's surface, around 4%. This leaves ample space for fishing, transportation, and the rich aquatic life that calls Sirata home. This thoughtful approach ensures the reservoir can continue its vital functions while embracing a new role as a beacon of clean energy. It's a testament to Indonesia's commitment to balancing progress with preservation, showcasing a path where development does not come at the cost of the environment. Building Southeast Asia's largest floating solar power plant is honestly a task of epic proportions, and the construction of the Kirata project was a marvel of logistics, an innovation and human collaboration. It all began on the shores of the reservoir, where thousands of components arrived from around the world. Over 340,000 individual solar panels, thousands of specially designed floating pontoons, kilometers of underwater cabling. Assembling this giant floating puzzle required a dedicated team of engineers, technicians, local workers. Piece by piece, they began to construct the massive arrays that would soon float upon the water's surface. The process was methodical and precise. The solar panels were first mounted onto durable, high-density polyethylene floats. The tropical sun, heavy rains, the constant gentle motion of the water. Groups of these panels were then connected to form larger blocks, kind of like giant rafts of clean energy. These blocks were then carefully towed out onto the reservoir and anchored securely to the lake bed. The anchoring system is a critical piece of engineering. It keeps the arrays fixed while allowing them to rise and fall with changing water levels that can fluctuate by several meters. Connecting these floating islands of power was the next big challenge. A complex network of underwater cables had to be laid. Waterproof cables run from the arrays Uyumayishai to floating substations which collect the direct current electricity generated by the panels. The substations then convert it to alternating current before sending it to the shore via heavy-duty underwater transmission lines. This subaquatic grid is the unseen nervous system of the entire operation, silently channeling the sun's energy towards the mainland. The entire construction was a powerful symbol of partnership. It was a joint venture between Indonesia's national utility company, PLN, and Masdar, a renewable energy firm from the United Arab Emirates. This international collaboration brought together global expertise and local knowledge. Hundreds of local people were employed during the construction phase, gaining new skills and becoming part of this historic project. It was more than just building an energy plant. Building capacity, fostering international cooperation, and empowering the local community to be at the forefront of the renewable energy revolution. When the final panel was connected and the switch was flipped, the Cirata floating solar power plant officially came to life with an initial capacity of 192 megawatts. It became the largest floating solar in Southeast Asia and the third largest in the world. This is not just a statistic, it is a powerful statement. It demonstrates Indonesia's capability to execute world-class renewable energy projects on a massive scale. 340,000 panels sprawling across 200 hectares of water, now generating enough clean electricity to power approximately 50,000 homes. This is tangible, meaningful progress in the nation's journey away from fossil fuels. Every single day as the sun shines on Cirata, the plant is displacing energy that would have otherwise been generated by burning coal. Annually, it will offset over 214,000 tons of CO2. It's like taking tens of thousands of cars off the road every single year. This reduction is a major contribution to Indonesia's climate goals. But the vision for Cirata does not end here. This initial phase is just the beginning. Plans are underway to expand toward nearly 1 gigawatt. That would make Cirata the largest floating solar plant in the world. Expansion would cover more of the reservoir, generating power for hundreds of thousands more homes and businesses. Cirata is not a one-off success. It's a scalable blueprint for Indonesia's energy transformation. Cirata is a symbol of what is possible, a source of national pride and an inspiration for the world. International delegations, energy experts are coming to West Java to learn from Indonesia's planning, engineering and execution. Cirata proves developing nations can lead the global energy transition. The future of energy is clean and incredibly bright. At its core, the technology behind floating solar or photovoltaics, elegantly simple yet brilliantly effective. It takes the proven science of a standard photovoltaic or PV solar panel and adapts it for a new environment, the surface of water. Each panel works just as it would on land, made from semiconductor materials like silicon. Those silicon cells are designed to capture photons from sunlight. When sunlight strikes the panel, it excites electrons in the silicon, creating a flow of electricity, direct current or DC. That's the fundamental process of converting light into power. Across the vast array at Cirata, that happens billions of times a second, but putting solar on water needs a special support system. Panels are affixed to robust, buoyant platforms, pontoons. Pontoons are often molded from UV-resistant, high-density polyethylene. They're lightweight, durable and stable, acting like individual rafts. Pontoons interlock to form large, stable mats that hold dozens of panels. This modular design lets the plant be assembled in sections and expanded later. The whole structure is an integrated system. It includes walkways for maintenance crews to access every part of the array. Electrical systems are adapted for the aquatic environment. All wiring sits in waterproof casings, and inverters that convert DC to grid AC are often on dedicated floating platforms. That keeps high voltage equipment safe, dry and operating in the middle of a reservoir. This represents a leap beyond traditional land-based solar farms. Reimagining reservoir surfaces as platforms for clean energy opens a new frontier. It's not just placing panels on water, it's sophisticated engineering, harnessing unique benefits. This is the innovative spirit driving Indonesia's clean energy revolution, one floating panel at a time. One of the most remarkable aspects of floating solar technology is honestly a simple principle of physics that gives it a distinct edge over land-based counterparts. Solar panels perform best when they are kept cool. As temperature rises, efficiency in converting sunlight into electricity decreases. On a hot, sunny day, rooftop or desert panels can become surprisingly hot to the touch. That excess heat is wasted energy. The panel produces less power. This is a fundamental challenge in hot, tropical climates like Indonesia. Floating solar offers a simple, natural solution. Placing panels directly over water gives them a constant, passive cooling effect. The water beneath acts as a giant heat sink, drawing warmth away. Air circulating between panels and the water carries heat away. Evaporation from the water also cools the microclimate around the array. Together, this helps panels maintain more optimal operating temperatures, even at peak sun. That cooling translates into higher energy output. Studies show floating panels can be 5 to 15% more efficient than identical land installations. Infographic: compare land-based and floating panels, temperature gauges and efficiency scaled across a massive project like Cirata. 340,000 panels. The difference is huge. More clean electricity from the same sunlight means thousands more homes powered. This efficiency improves project economics and speeds the shift from fossil fuels, making every sunbeam count. It's a synergy of water and solar technology, working with nature, not against it. Instead of complex, expensive cooling systems, photovoltaics leverages the environment, technologically smart and environmentally elegant. For Indonesia, with warm climate and abundant water, this cooling effect is a natural advantage. The nation is harnessing it to maximize clean energy potential and lead sustainable innovation. While the concept of floating solar panels is straightforward, keeping a 200-hectare power plant stationary on a vast body of water is honestly a significant engineering challenge. The Cirata Reservoir is not a placid swimming pool, it is a dynamic environment. The water level can rise and fall by several meters between the wet and dry seasons. The surface is subject to winds that can create waves and exert immense force on the structure. The solar arrays cannot simply be left to drift freely. They must be secured in place with a robust anchoring and mooring system. The system designed for Cirata is a marvel of underwater engineering. It involves a network of mooring lines connecting the arrays to anchors on the reservoir floor, not like a small boat's anchor, massive concrete blocks, specialized screw-in piles chosen based on the lakebed composition, carefully modeled with advanced simulation software that tested wind loads, water currents, potential wave action, so the array can withstand the strongest storms. The mooring system adapts to changing water levels. The lines are not fully taut. They include slack in a catenary design. That lets the array rise and fall with the reservoir like a ship at anchor. That flexibility is crucial where water is managed for power generation and irrigation. The system keeps panels consistently oriented to the sun without stressing lines or floats. This engineering dance ensures long-term reliability. Anchors are built to last for decades. Materials chosen for durability and resistance to underwater corrosion. It holds the array in optimal position, preventing drifting into shipping lanes, interfering with the dam's operations, or damaging the sensitive fish farms nearby. This hidden strength and engineered stability lets the 340,000 panels silently do their work. It's a testament to planning, ensuring a steadfast source of clean energy for generations. The brilliance of floating solar technology is not just in how it works, but where it works. For a country like Indonesia, its advantages align perfectly with the nation's unique geography and development challenges. Indonesia is one of the most densely populated countries in the world, particularly on the island of Java. Cirata is located there. Land is an incredibly precious resource, fiercely competed for by housing industry and vital agriculture. Building a traditional ground-mounted solar farm of Cirata's scale would have required clearing a vast area of land, potentially displacing farms or communities and increasing pressure on already strained ecosystems. Floating solar completely sidesteps this critical issue of land use. By utilizing the surface of existing man-made reservoirs, Indonesia can generate massive amounts of clean energy without sacrificing a single square meter of productive land. The country has over 500 large lakes and reservoirs, many of which are part of hydroelectric power systems. This presents a colossal opportunity. If just a small fraction of the surface of these water bodies were used for floating solar, Indonesia could add gigawatts of renewable capacity to its grid. This dual-use approach, using reservoirs for both hydropower and solar power, is an incredibly efficient and intelligent strategy for a land-scarce nation. The archipelago geography means that many of Indonesia's power grids are decentralized, spread across thousands of islands. Floating solar offers a scalable and relatively quick to deploy a solution that can be built close to where power is needed. A smaller floating solar farm could be built on a local reservoir to power a nearby town or an industrial park, reducing the need for long, expensive, and sometimes inefficient transmission lines. This flexibility allows for a more resilient and distributed energy system, which is ideal for a nation composed of many islands, helping to bring reliable, clean power to even more remote communities. This technology is therefore more than just an innovative option for Indonesia. It is arguably the perfect solution. It addresses the land use dilemma, complements the existing hydropower infrastructure, and is perfectly suited to a decentralized archipelagic geography. It is a homegrown solution that leverages the nation's natural assets, abundant sunshine and abundant water, in a way that is both sustainable and strategic. The success at Cirata is proving that this is not just a theoretical advantage, but a practical and powerful reality. It shows the world how a nation can turn its geographical challenges into its greatest strengths in the race to build a sustainable future. One of the most profound environmental benefits of the Cirata project is not what it does, but really what it avoids. In a world where land is an increasingly finite resource, the decision to place this enormous power plant on water is a victory for conservation. To build a 192 megawatt solar farm on the ground would require at least 200 hectares of flat, cleared land. In a densely populated region like West Java, this land would likely have come from productive farms that feed local communities, or worse, from clearing precious forested areas. This would have meant habitat loss, soil erosion, and the release of carbon stored in the vegetation and soil, which would, undermine the very purpose of clean energy. By choosing to float the solar arrays on the Cirata Reservoir, Indonesia has completely sidestepped this land use conflict. The project leaves the surrounding green hills untouched, allowing forests to continue serving as vital carbon sinks and havens for wildlife. It allows farmers to continue cultivating their fields, ensuring local food security is not compromised in the pursuit of energy independence. This approach demonstrates a deep respect for the land and the people who depend on it. It is a powerful statement that the transition to renewable energy does not have to come at the expense of our natural ecosystems or agricultural heritage, which is a lesson of critical importance for the entire world. This concept of land sparing is a cornerstone of sustainable development. Every hectare of water surface used for solar power is a hectare of land that is preserved for nature, for food, or for communities. In a nation that is home to some of the world's most biodiverse and threatened rainforests, this principle is paramount. The pressure to convert forests for palm oil plantations, mining, and urban expansion is already immense. Floating solar offers a compelling alternative pathway, a way to meet the country's growing energy needs without adding to the deforestation crisis. It is a strategic choice that aligns perfectly with Indonesia's national goals for both climate action and biodiversity protection. Ultimately, the light footprint of the Cirata project establishes a new benchmark for responsible energy development. It challenges the old paradigm that large-scale infrastructure must inevitably lead to environmental degradation. It proves that with thoughtful planning and innovative technology, we can build the energy systems of the future in a way that is harmonious with the natural world. This is perhaps Cirata's quietest yet most significant environmental achievement. The forests that were not cut down, the fields that were not paved over, and the ecosystems that were left to thrive, all thanks to the simple, brilliant idea of looking to the water. While the solar panels are busy converting sunlight into electricity, they are also having a positive, though less visible, impact on the water beneath them. One of the most significant co-benefits is the reduction of evaporation from the reservoir's surface. In a warm tropical climate like Indonesia's, a vast open body of water like Cirata can lose a substantial amount of water to the atmosphere every day. The large shaded area created by the 200-hectare solar array acts like a partial cover, reducing sun exposure, reducing wind exposure, significantly slowing down this evaporation process. This water-saving effect is incredibly valuable. The water in Cirata Reservoir is a critical resource, generating hydroelectricity, irrigating downstream agricultural lands, providing a water supply for surrounding communities. By conserving millions of litres of water each year, the solar plant enhances the reservoir's overall efficiency and resilience. In an era of climate change, where rainfall patterns are becoming less predictable and droughts more frequent, this added benefit becomes increasingly important for regional water security, ensuring a more stable supply for all its users. Furthermore, the shade provided by the panels helps suppress harmful algae blooms. Algae thrive in warm, sunlit, nutrient-rich water. When they grow excessively, these blooms can deplete oxygen levels in the water, creating dead zones harmful to fish, harmful to other aquatic organisms. They can also impact water quality, making it more difficult and costly to treat for human consumption. By limiting direct sunlight reaching the water, the floating arrays create conditions less favorable for algae, helping to maintain a healthier and more balanced aquatic ecosystem. This improvement in water quality is a subtle but powerful example of the project's holistic environmental benefits. The Cirata plant is not just generating clean energy, it is actively contributing to the health of the reservoir it occupies. This creates a virtuous cycle. The reservoir provides the platform for the solar plant, and in return, the solar plant helps protect and preserve the reservoir's vital water resources. It is a symbiotic relationship between technology and nature, showcasing how renewable infrastructure can deliver multiple environmental dividends beyond carbon reduction, creating a healthier ecosystem both above the water's surface, below the water's surface. A common question surrounding large-scale floating solar projects is their impact on the life that exists beneath the surface. A common question surrounding large-scale floating solar projects is their impact on the life that exists beneath the surface. The installation of a 200-hectare structure in the middle of a reservoir is a significant change, and it is natural to wonder how fish and other aquatic organisms will react. The planners of the Kirrata project took this concern very seriously, conducting thorough environmental impact assessments before construction began. The goal was to ensure that the power plant could coexist with and perhaps even support the reservoir's vibrant aquatic ecosystem, which is also a crucial source of livelihood for local fishing communities and their extensive floating fish farms. Early observations and ongoing studies suggest a fascinating and positive outcome. The vast underwater structures of the mooring systems and the shaded areas beneath the floats are beginning to act as a form of artificial reef. These complex sheltered environments provide new habitats for smaller fish, giving them places to hide from larger predators. This can lead to an increase in the population of certain fish species, a phenomenon known as the fish aggregation effect. The structures become colonized by algae and microorganisms, which in turn provide a food source for fish, potentially boosting the overall productivity of the local food web within the project area. Moreover, the project was carefully designed to avoid disrupting the existing aquaculture in the reservoir. The solar arrays are located in a specific zone, leaving the majority of the reservoir's surface open for the thousands of floating net cages known as karamba that form the backbone of the local economy. By limiting the project's footprint to just 4% of the reservoir, a balance was struck between energy generation and local livelihoods. This thoughtful zoning ensures that fishermen can continue their activities unimpeded and may even benefit from the potential increase in wild fish populations drawn to the new structures for shelter and food. While long-term monitoring is still underway to fully understand all the ecological interactions, the initial signs are promising. The Sirata project is becoming a living laboratory for studying how large-scale renewable energy infrastructure can be integrated into aquatic ecosystems. The evidence so far suggests that far from being a sterile industrial zone, the floating solar farm may be creating a more complex and productive habitat. It is a compelling example of how human technology, when designed with nature in mind, can create unexpected positive outcomes, potentially turning a power plant into a sanctuary that nurtures and protects aquatic biodiversity. The most direct and honestly the most measurable environmental impact of the Sirata floating solar power plant is its contribution to cleaner air. Every single kilowatt hour of electricity generated by its silent sun-powered panels is a kilowatt hour that doesn't need to come from a conventional fossil fuel power plant. Indonesia, like a lot of rapidly developing nations, has historically leaned pretty heavily on coal to power its growth. That was essential for development. But coal-fired power plants are a major source of air pollution. Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, particulate matter. These emissions can have serious consequences for public health. The Sirata project represents a significant step away from this reliance. By displacing coal-fired generation, the plant directly reduces these pollutants. the annual offset of over 214,000 tonnes of CO2, but the public health benefits are just as important. Cleaner air means fewer respiratory illnesses, lower healthcare costs, a better quality of life for millions, especially those living in and around the densely populated industrial heartlands of Java. This is a real, tangible, life-improving outcome of the nation's green energy transition, and this impact actually extends beyond just the immediate area around the power plant. The electricity from Cirata feeds into the Java Bali grid, which is one of the largest and most critical power networks in the country. By injecting clean energy into this massive system, the project helps lower the overall carbon intensity of the entire grid. It's kind of like adding a stream of pure, fresh water into a larger river, gradually improving its quality. You see infographic West Java incurs clean air flowing from Cirata to cities. As Indonesia builds more projects like Cirata, the cumulative effect will be a fundamental shift in the nation's energy mix, leading to progressively cleaner air and a healthier environment for all 280 million of its citizens. This is really the ultimate promise of the renewable energy revolution. It's not just some abstract effort to combat global climate change, it's about creating a direct and positive impact on people's daily lives. The Cirata project is a powerful symbol of this promise fulfilled. It stands as a testament to the idea that choosing a sustainable path isn't about sacrifice. It's about building a better, healthier, and more prosperous future. Every sunrise over the shimmering panels of Cirata is a reminder of this progress. Delivery of clean power that allows millions to breathe a little easier. The magnificent Cirata project is not an isolated marvel. It's actually a powerful opening statement in a much grander national narrative of transformation. And this floating solar plant is just one piece of Indonesia's ambitious renewable strategy. The government has laid out a clear roadmap. The National General Energy Plan. It charts a course toward a future powered by clean, sustainable sources. This vision reaches far beyond West Java, from the windswept coasts of Sulawesi to the volcanic heartlands of Sumatra. It's a national commitment to change. The strategy is built on diversification. Floating solar is a flagship initiative. The country also has many other renewable resources. Significant expansion of geothermal energy, tapping the Ring of Fire's immense heat. Indonesia holds about 40% of the world's geothermal reserves, a vast, reliable, clean source ready to be harnessed. At the same time, large-scale coastal wind farms are being explored, and bioenergy from agricultural waste is being developed. It's a multifaceted approach to decarbonisation, the ultimate goal, net zero emissions by 2060 or sooner. That requires a monumental shift away from fossil fuels. The government has pledged to stop building new coal plants and to gradually phase out existing ones. A courageous, complex move for a major coal producer. It signals a pivot to long-term environmental sustainability, one that needs political will and international support. Cirata's role is catalytic. Its success is proof of concept for large-scale renewables. It builds confidence among investors, policymakers, and the public. It's the first big step that makes the journey achievable. Cirata is a beacon, showcasing capability and commitment, inspiring acceleration toward a cleaner, secure, prosperous energy future for all islands. Generating massive amounts of renewable energy is only half the battle. The electricity must then be delivered reliably to the homes, businesses, and industries that need it. Homes, businesses, industries. Recognizing this, a critical component of Indonesia's renewable strategy is modernizing and expanding its national grid. The vision is to create a green energy superhighway, smart, resilient, interconnected, capable of managing the variable nature of sources like solar, wind. This involves laying new transmission lines to connect remote renewable projects to population centres and integrating advanced digital technologies to balance supply and demand in real time. This grid modernisation is essential for integrating the diverse energy sources in the national plan. A smart grid can seamlessly switch between hydropower, geothermal, solar, depending on time of day and weather. For example, it can draw heavily on solar power from projects like Cirata during sunny daylight hours, then shift to reliable geothermal or dispatchable hydropower during evening peak. This orchestration ensures a stable and uninterrupted supply of electricity. It overcomes a key challenge of a renewable dominant system. It is the invisible backbone that will support the green revolution. A key part of this vision is strengthening connections between islands. Indonesia is developing massive subsea cables to link the major islands of Sumatra, Java, Bali. This interconnectivity is a game changer. It lets regions with abundant renewables share clean power with industrial hubs. Sumatra's geothermal potential, Sumatra's hydropower potential, transmitted to energy-hungry Java, creating a balanced, efficient national energy market. This superhighway will move clean electrons like highways, move goods and people. This infrastructure investment is a long-term commitment to a sustainable future. It is complex and capital intensive, requiring collaboration between government, state utilities, private sector partners, but it is a non-negotiable step on the path to net zero. Without a modern, flexible, interconnected grid, Indonesia's renewables can't reach full potential. The Green Energy Superhighway will carry Indonesia's clean energy ambitions from drawing board to reality, powering the nation's growth for the next century and beyond with sustainable energy. The path to a fully renewable future, while inspiring, is not without its obstacles. Indonesia's ambitious energy transition faces a series of complex challenges that require careful navigation and unwavering resolve. One of the most significant hurdles is finance. The scale of investment required to build new power plants, modernize the grid phase out. Coal is colossal, estimated to be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Projects like Cirata demonstrate successful international partnerships, but mobilizing this level of capital consistently will require innovative financing mechanisms, clear and stable regulations, and strong support from the global community through frameworks like the Just Energy Transition Partnership, or JETP. Another major challenge lies in the political and economic inertia of the existing system. For decades, the Indonesian economy has been deeply intertwined with the fossil fuel industry, particularly coal, which is a major source of revenue, employment, and political influence. Transitioning away from this entrenched system requires difficult policy decisions and managing the social and economic impacts on communities that depend on coal mining. A just transition must ensure that workers in the fossil fuel sector are provided with new skills and opportunities in the growing green economy, ensuring that no one is left behind in the shift to cleaner energy sources. Technology and geography also present ongoing challenges. While Indonesia has vast renewable potential, much of it is located in remote regions far from the main centres of population and industry on Java. Harnessing this potential requires not only the grid superhighway but also overcoming logistical hurdles in difficult terrain. Ensuring grid stability with a high percentage of intermittent renewables like solar requires significant investment in energy storage solutions such as large-scale batteries, pumped hydro storage to provide power when the sun is not shining. These technologies are still evolving and represent a significant additional cost for the transition. Despite these hurdles, the sense of optimism in Indonesia is palpable. The government and the people recognize that the challenges, while significant, are surmountable. They view them not as roadblocks, but as problems to be solved through innovation, collaboration, and determination. And the success of the Sarada project has provided a powerful dose of confidence, proving that even the most ambitious plans can be realized. Indonesia understands that the journey to net zero is a marathon, not a sprint, and is prepared to face the challenges head-on, driven by the clear and compelling vision of a sustainable and prosperous future for the nation. The story of Cirata is more than just a national success, it is a global inspiration. As the sun sets over shimmering panels in West Java, its impact sends ripples of hope across the world. In an era where the climate crisis demands urgent and bold action, Indonesia has stepped onto the world stage as a leader and an innovator. The project demonstrates that the renewable energy revolution is not confined to the developed nations of the global north. It shows that emerging economies can leapfrog traditional development paths. They can pioneer solutions uniquely suited to their own circumstances, setting new standards for the rest of the world to admire. This ripple effect is already being felt. Nations across Southeast Asia, nations across Africa, nations across Latin America, abundant sunshine, inland water bodies, pressures on land use. They see a practical blueprint, a scalable blueprint, an economically viable blueprint. The project provides powerful case study answering critical questions about engineering, about financing, and environmental integration. Indonesia is now in a position to share its expertise, fostering South-South cooperation, helping other nations unlock their own floating solar potential. Sarada challenges the world to think more creatively about the spaces we use for energy generation. It forces us to look beyond empty fields and rooftops and see the potential in our existing infrastructure. Why can't more hydroelectric reservoirs around the world serve a dual purpose? Why can't we use quarry lakes? Why water treatment ponds to generate clean power? Indonesia's success encourages engineers and policymakers everywhere to reconsider the built environment, finding innovative ways to integrate renewable energy into communities without disrupting nature. It is a paradigm shift that could unlock gigawatts of clean energy potential on surfaces we have long overlooked. This leadership role is a source of immense pride, but also a great responsibility. By proving the viability of floating solar at such a massive scale, Indonesia has raised the bar. The world will be watching as the nation embarks on the planned expansion of Cirata and develops new projects on other reservoirs. Its continued success will build further momentum for the technology globally, driving down costs, accelerating adoption. The journey that began on the calm waters of a single reservoir in West Java is now part of a global narrative, a story of how one nation's vision can help illuminate a path toward a sustainable future for all of humanity. As our journey concludes, we are left with a powerful and enduring image, a vast mosaic of solar panels floating peacefully on a tropical reservoir, silently transforming sunlight into hope. The Sarada project is the physical embodiment of Indonesia's vision for a new era. It is an era where economic development and environmental stewardship are two sides of the same coin, a future that harnesses the nation's natural blessings, preserving them for generations to come. This is more than just an energy project. It is a promise made by a nation to its people and to the world, a commitment to a cleaner, healthier, more prosperous future. The path ahead is long. The challenges we have explored are real. Transitioning an entire nation's energy system will require decades of sustained effort, immense investment, and unwavering political will. There will be setbacks. However, what Sarada provides is an undeniable sense of momentum and a tangible reason for optimism. It proves that progress is possible, that big ambitions can be realized, and that Indonesia has the ingenuity and determination to see this journey through. It stands as a constant shining reminder of the nation's potential and its dedication to achieving its climate goals. This story is ultimately a human one. Engineers who solved complex challenges, local workers who built a monument to the future, policymakers who dared to dream big, communities who have embraced this new landmark. It is about the children who will grow up in a country powered by cleaner energy, breathing fresher air, and inheriting a nation that chose to lead. This project is a testament to the power of human collaboration and our collective ability to innovate our way to a better world when we are united by a common purpose. It is a story of hope written in glass and silicon on the surface of the water. Indonesia's floating solar revolution is a beacon, casting a bright light on the pathway to a sustainable planet. It shows that the future of energy is not only about technological advancement, but also about ecological harmony. It is about finding intelligent, elegant solutions that work with nature, not against it. As the world continues to grapple with the urgent and complex challenge of climate change, the story of Sarada serves as a powerful and inspiring reminder that the solutions are within our grasp. Here in the heart of the Indonesian archipelago, the future is not some distant dream. It is being built today, powered by the sun and floating on water.